a quorum. I call the Committee on Economic Development to order. Please, Madam the Clerk, roll call, please.
Each member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom and that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Commissioner Ware, Commissioner Varga,
Here.
Commissioner Palomera,
Here.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Here.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Show him to be excused.
Commissioner Anderson. He actually just logged in. Commissioner Anderson, are you in?
Maybe he's on mute.
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Okay. Chair Hattis,
Present.
you have a quorum present.
Next item, please.
B, approval of the November 24th, 2020 meeting minutes.
Move approval, Anderson.
Move approval.
Motion been made and supported. All any discussion? Here and none. All those who agree signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose. Motion carried. Next item.
C, old business, there is none.
Okay, and we're gonna take all the action item first, then do the presentation by the Economic Development Department. Okay, move to item 1.
Item 1, communication from Detroit, the City of Detroit forwarding a notice of a joint public informational meeting for the City of Detroit Downtown Development Authority.
That it's received and filed. Yes.
Move to receive and file. Anderson.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on item 1? Here and none. All those who agree signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose. Motion carried. Next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of an 18-month subrecipient agreement with Samaritas.
That it's item for approval.
Move approval.
Support,
Move
Anderson.
approval.
Any discussion on item 3? Here and none. All those who agree signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose. Motion carried. Next item.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of a purchase and development agreement with BT Plymouth.
Okay, this item it's for approval.
Move approval.
Move to approve.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Here and none. All those who agree signify by saying aye. No, I think
Aye.
we need to take, we need to take a roll call on this.
Commissioner
Madam Clerk.
Ware, Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Hattis.
Yes. Motion carried. Next item.
Item 5, communication from Eugene Nelson, Commissioner, Detroit Wayne Joint Building Authority, forwarding his intent to resign from his position of commissioner.
Yes, I think he served on many committee and he did an excellent job, and we like to thank him for all what he did in Wayne County. And I think now we need a motion.
Move approval, Anderson.
Move to receive and file.
Support, Anderson.
Motion been made and supported. All those who agree signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose? Motion carried. Next item.
Item 2, a presentation by the Economic Development Department.
Okay, we have with us Wafa, and Wafa, all yours.
Thanks. I'm actually going to kick it to Khalil. Khalil's on today, and if you guys don't mind, we're going to share our screen.
No problem at all.
One
Good morning,
second, I'm
Khalil.
gonna take mine down.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning to the rest of the board. Thank you all for taking the time to have us today. Just give us a second. This is the end of the presentation. We want to go back to the beginning. Thank you. Mr. Chair, and to the rest of the board, I want to thank you all for all your hard work this year. You know, we could not have done all the things that we have done without your approvals, without your efforts, without your outreach, without your thoughts and programmatic, you know, consultations. And so it's been really, really incredible. You all know Wayne County has been the recipient of over $220 some million of federal funds. And so in addition to just the year that we've had responding to the pandemic, in addition to the budgetary cuts and restorations and you know, going through all the difficulties that we've been facing, you know, we were also charged with the task of making sure we spent as much money as we could to make sure it did not go back to the federal government, to make sure that Wayne County absorbed as much resources to keep our economy going as possible. And I'm happy to say that I really feel like we did a really good job of that. You all know that in our shop, we have a very strong effort for small businesses. I may do a little bit more, you know, with the budget and the federal spending on other things. But, you know, in particular, you're pretty much very much aware of the $50 million grant program that we allocated out to small businesses. One of the best responses in America for any local municipality. We wanted to come to you all and just share some information that we have about it. Now, I'll also couch this information by saying that we do not have a data analytics team, okay? My shop has 5 people to cover an area of 1.75 million people. To give you a sense of what that's like in just comparison, I won't look nationally. Let's just look at Washtenaw County, where they have 30 to 35 people at Ann Arbor Spark that really does economic development for 300,000 people. You know, a county, you know, very much a fraction of our size, 6 times the amount of staff being put towards business development, right? So, you know, we're doing the best that we can with the information that we have. So you're going to look at this data. I'm hoping that it gives you some clarity on where resources are going, on, you know, how good and how much of an impact it's having. But certainly, you know, we could be doing a whole lot more from a data analytics standpoint. We are so busy coming up with ideas, programming dollars, making sure everything's going to satisfy federal auditors that, you know, the best that we can do is maybe track where some of the money is going, put out some surveys and share that information with you all. But we wanted to get your thoughts on it, and then hopefully, follow up with you guys, with everybody here in the future. So the other thing I would say is, you know, the conversation, especially when it comes to small businesses right now, very, very difficult conversation to have. Businesses are going through, you know, really, really difficult times. I don't think anybody in America thought that the struggle, and particularly from the economy and small businesses, would have lasted this long when we first started during the pandemic. We have had the ability to provide some relief. More is desperately needed. We are on a call every other week with our congressional delegation. Thankfully, we have one of the best congressional delegations of anywhere in the country who fight really, really hard to get us as much resources as possible. But, you know, Congress is Congress, and we wait to see the outcome of what those outcomes result in. But I think we can sit here and say wholeheartedly that of all the municipalities that we know of, the Warren Evans administration and this county commission has probably responded as much as anyone to the needs of small businesses with the resources we have. And so the hope is that we share that with you. Now I will tell you that, sorry, there's a little bit of an echo. Can you hear me? Okay, that's better. I will tell you that the conversation with small businesses, like any pandemic, is, you know, the most vulnerable businesses are affected, you know, disproportionately, right? You have your smaller businesses that are really, really struggling right now. When relief packages come out, when programs come out, it is very, very typical for larger businesses to be able to suck up a lot of resources, leaving very little resources left for the little people, right? And the reason for that is because small businesses are just trying to get by to their day-to-day jobs. They don't have accountants and lawyers on standby like a lot of these other businesses. They don't have relationships with the banks like a lot of these other businesses. And so they're oftentimes, you know, last in line when it comes to things like the PPP loan program, right? Which, you know, was open first round for only 13 days because it got taken up so much by larger corporations, which had a lot of federal compliance issues, which had a lot of, you know, administrative requirements. That was very, very hard for your small mom and pop shops to track. So we have done as much as we can do, I feel like, to make sure we targeted the most vulnerable businesses in Wayne County, the ones that needed the most help. And the reason for that is, you know, one, we thought it was the best strategy for the county's economics, but two, it also was a good strategy for how to suck up as much, you know, resources coming into our backyard. And so we're gonna present some information regarding that today. You know, here's just some of the things that our shop has been able to do. You know, first and foremost, you know, over $70 million in grants and loans to small businesses. Now you're going to see a breakdown about that in a little bit, but again, you know, these are going towards your true small businesses. 100% of the grants that we have given out have gone to businesses under 50 employees. 100% of the loans that we've given out have been under 100 employees. And so it's really aimed and targeted at your true small businesses. I don't know of another county or municipality in America that has put that much money directly in the hands of small businesses. You know, we've helped support our 43 municipalities with all kinds of different information. You know, when this started, you know, we were in the middle of March, and we immediately started an open streets campaign where we helped over 20 of our municipalities change local ordinances, because as you all remember, in the summertime, there was a capacity executive order, right? Businesses were only be able to open 50% capacity. And we worked with so many local municipalities to change their ordinances to allow capacity to expand on sidewalks and alleyways. We closed down streets. We opened up the possibility for parking lots so that people could safely social distance, so that commerce can continue to go, and those kinds of things. So we provide a lot of information to our local municipalities. The third box there, you know, for those of you who attend our Friday 1 o'clock Zoom calls, you know, since April, we've been hosting a meeting every Friday at 1 o'clock. Sometimes we skip when we don't have information, but we've been able to gather, you know, 50 different technical assistants and 70 different webinars, and we've posted them on our website. And those Friday calls are very, very helpful because, you know, we're able to obtain a lot of information from a lot of different places and share a lot of information with a lot of people who have a lot of clients to get the word out very, very quickly. And so that's just free information sitting out there. Sometimes the information is so easy as, you know, help transition your business online. You know, we know now with, you know, indoor capacities being closed down, a lot of businesses have to transfer their business online, whether that's working with, Uber and Lyft, or Uber Eats and DoorDash and all those Grubhub type of establishments, to whether just getting your menu online and promoting your business online and coupons online and those kinds of things. So there's a lot of good technical assistance out there, and it's helped sort of, work with phasing in our economy. We provided PPE, you know, in the amount of 4,000 kits to 4,000 small businesses in Wayne County. And then, you know, we've got other programs. So in addition to our direct grant programs, our small business center and our business development managers are helping businesses apply for the PPP program. They're helping businesses apply for Health Choice. They're helping businesses apply for MEDC grant programs and all these other grant programs. Again, we're so dedicated to sucking up as much resources for small businesses in Wayne County as possible. And so you can see, you know, when you add all these things up, you know, you're looking at a response that's probably better than anybody that I could think of in America. Can you go to the next page, please? So let's just talk about some of the direct assistance programs. This doesn't include conversations of how many people we've helped obtain other types of grants or loans. This doesn't include information about the PPEs that we've helped provide to people, or the webinars, or any of those other kinds of things. This is about direct assistance, okay? Many of you obviously very much aware of our $50 million grant program, and I want to thank the County Commission. Last week, you let us kick that up to another 1.5 million. So in that red bar there, you see, in total at the top there, you'll see that we've helped provide over $70 million of assistance. But this is really trying to break that 70 million down, okay? We've helped over 5,000 small businesses with direct assistance, okay? Of the $51.5 million, you can see that that went to over 3,200 small businesses in Wayne County. We've also been the recipients of over $17 million in MEDC grants, and we've worked really well with the DEGC to help us administer those grants. When you've got, this many transactions, you need partners, especially small transactions like this, and we're happy that the DEGC has helped us so much to be able to split some of the administrative duties. But with our grants from MEDC, we split the very first allocation, which was just under $15 million, 7.4 million, 7.4 million. We got a very early grant in the amount of 1.6 million, and so we split that 800,000. And then we had our Wayne County TCF loan program at the very, very beginning of this, where we provided very low interest loans in the form of micro loans to small businesses. If the folks here remember, we started out in low income areas, then the County Commission came forward and put up some general fund dollars to help with the rest of the county. That amounted into, over 229 loans being given out. And so you have some of the breakdown of some of the numbers there that amount to over 5,000 businesses that got direct assistance from us. But, it's important to understand where and who is receiving, this assistance. And I think that's the thing we want to talk about today, and maybe, a little bit brag about, because I think it's actually really, really good news. 100% of our grant dollars are going to businesses under 50 employees, which is, we're trying to avoid the mistake that some of the feds made, right? Which is they put out a program where, a lot of the bigger corporations sucked up a lot of the resources, leaving the smaller businesses left high and dry. And so we very, very much targeted, where our resources go from a programmatic standpoint. And then, we targeted it again by having, a very strong outreach campaign. When we announced the $50 million grant program, we didn't just put out a grant application. We spent 2 weeks going around very aggressively advertising the program and doing it in areas of low income, because we thought that's where the money needed the most help. And while we can't ever direct money where to go, we have to receive applications. It's on a first come, first served basis. Obviously we're under federal guidelines, and obviously we're trying to get the money out before December 30th, and there's a lot that goes into it. But what we did was, our efforts, we're really seeing the fruits of it because of the funds that we sent out. Now, I'm not talking about the loan funds. We're just talking about some of the grant funds we sent out. When you add it all up, of the 4,888 grant awardees, you're looking at over 2,500 of those businesses identify themselves as minority-owned businesses. That is over 50%. And that's really a really strong showing. Almost 2,000, 1,946 identified themselves as women-owned businesses. That's again a very, very strong showing. We have 137 veteran-owned businesses, and like I said before, 100% of all these funds went to under 50 employees, and that's the accumulation of all the grant information. Next is a slide on the loan information, and I think many of you have seen this. When we first started out with this, not knowing sort of how long the pandemic would last, people needed cash immediately. The PPP program was trickling out, not being administered very, very quickly. People needed, cash right away. We teamed up with a bank, a TCF bank, which administered a program, and it's the, number one one of the top 1% banks in the country for SBA small business loans. We put up to $10 million to see who needed what, and we did it in 2 rounds. Right? We did in a round for low-income area, and the general fund dollars sort of came into play. And you can see that the majority of our funds went into low-income areas. Roughly about 4.4 million in total, but almost 2.5 of that went into low-income areas. Almost just below 2 million of it went to other places into the county. And again, 100% of these funds went to businesses under 100 employees. One piece with this to just talk about, the term of the loan was for 1 year. And we're about 9 months or so, give or take, into that, maybe 8.5 months into that. And so, and I think I want to say, actually it's in June. So we're actually more like 6-7 months into it. We're starting to see though, with TCF, that people are being called to make some of their payments now, because the first 6 months were, no payments, and the last 6 months is when everybody had to pay the money back. And so we're going to watch this and monitor it. But because more executive orders have come down, and because the federal government has not come with any new help, we may be asking the county commission to maybe extend the term of the loan program. I think it's a good idea to really give these folks, another leg of relief, maybe 6 months, maybe longer. I don't know just yet how long we may be asking you all, but I think small businesses need a little help. I think this is one more way we might be able to help them. And so be on the lookout for us coming back to you all, maybe asking for an extension, if, TCF agrees to do so. Can you go to the next one? Thank you. And so, what we did is, we wanted to get even more specific information, okay, about where the funds were going. And so what we did was, for our $50 million grant program, and only our $50 million grant program, we sent out a survey asking folks if they're willing, they didn't have to, this is after they've already received the funds, that if they were willing to identify themselves, identify where their business was, and see if they, if they were willing to participate in the survey. And we got a good response. Again, this is only for our $50 million grant program. This wasn't of the 51 million. You all just approved that 1.5 million, last week. This wasn't at all involved in the MEDC portion of the grants. So the DEGC, businesses that they helped out with, we weren't able to get, them involved in this. This had nothing to do with the loan program. This is just of the $50 million grant program, which had, a little bit over 3,200 businesses in it. We asked for a survey, and we got a very good response rate. 974 businesses responded, which is just under 30%. Okay. For those of you who do surveys or know surveys, that's a very good response rate. I mean, small businesses right now are struggling so bad that responding to a survey is the last thing on their mind. And, a lot of these small businesses are minority-owned, foreign-born businesses. Surveys are not things that they are typical, in getting involved in. Because again, they're struggling so bad with their business, they're just trying to get by. But we did get, 974 businesses to participate in the survey. And so it's a good indication. It is not a precise indication, but it is a good indication. And what we found is, of our surveys, of the 974 people that responded, 376 of them identified as non-minority owned. Okay, so they were white. All right, and that's about 38.6%. What does that mean? That means the majority of our funds went to businesses that identified themselves as minority-owned businesses, which, again, I would ask anybody to find a program anywhere in the country that has tried to administer programs like this, and just try to compare, because I don't know that it exists. I'm sure somebody somewhere is doing a very, very good job, but what I can tell you from these numbers is that Wayne County is doing an excellent job of making sure money goes to the areas that we need it the most. We know African-American owned businesses have been dramatically hit, especially in the area of small businesses. And what you should know is, of this survey, okay, 30.2% of the people that responded to the survey identified themselves as Black or African American. Another 1.1% identified themselves as Black and Arab American. Another 1.6, let's see here. There's about, I see about 70 businesses responded that they were, or 11 responded that they were, let's see, what do I got here? Yeah, Black and Arab, and then there's Black and Asian. And there was about 3 businesses that identified themselves as Black and Latino businesses. And there was a good portion, of people who preferred not to respond. So when you look at these numbers, what you have here is at least a good indication, not a precise indication, but a good indication that minority-owned businesses are receiving a good portion of the funds. Again, about 18% of the businesses were Arab American-owned businesses. And being that we're a county that has the largest Arab American population in the country, I think that's significant. And then you have to take into account that, if people respond to surveys, it is likely, and this is just through experience, this is not some analytics or data or science, but just through our experience, minority-owned businesses, foreign-born businesses usually don't respond to data. So if you were to take the accurate information for all 3,200 businesses that received the grant, the African American, the Arab, the Latino-owned businesses, those numbers would likely increase. That's our best guess at this point. So on the right there, you've got some heat maps and some dots that kind of show you where, the resources are going. It's decently spread out and good targeted in low-income areas. So again, we're very, very proud of this information. This isn't the end-all be-all. We're certainly not solving the world's problems. There's a lot of work left to do for sure. But I think, I wanted to take a moment and brag about Wafat De Niro. I wanted to brag about Luz Meza, David Schreiber, Nasser Kayed, and Darcy Martin and Kamal and the team that have really worked really, really hard to try to, never precisely hit the bullseye on the head, but always try to get it on the board and do it better than how other people are doing it. And I think they've really achieved that. Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
There any question for Mr. Khalil Rahal? I think you did a good job, so you probably...
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Anderson?
Yes, Khalil, I wanted to say thanks to your whole team. WAFA has always been easily accessible, as you have yourself, and the whole crew. And I just wanted to say thanks for all you've done. I think it has been pretty remarkable how much outreach there's been, and what we've been able to do for the county small businesses. Just wondered, is there anything coming or in process that's going to help give those small businesses a second shot as far as grants, small grants?
One
other thing, if I could too, Khalil, I forgot to mention, I agree that we need to probably do something to extend those loans. I know early on when other businesses were getting those federal, I believe it was in the CARE package, they were getting grants and the bills were coming due, and they weren't even working, had no income coming in to pay those bills because of COVID. But so we do need to do something.
Great. No, I'm thank you for the feedback, and we're gonna, talk about it internally and see what we can put back in front of you for approval. In terms of grants, you all know that the federal CARES dollars have to be spent by December 30th. We did put something in front of you last week. I know you all approved at least 1.5 million more. Roughly about, I want to say I reported about 4.6 million-ish was slated to be purchased for PPE. In the process of figuring out what our PPE stock looks like, okay? The federal government will only allow us to have only so much PPE at one time because there's a national shortage, yada, yada, yada. And so depending on what that stock might look like, depending on how much time left over, I can tell you that the team sends emails all throughout the night about what the mayor of Los Angeles is doing, about what they're doing down in Houston, about with this idea up in Boston or in Philadelphia. And so, you know, you're killing me because my team wants to do so much more. And my fear is that we have to make sure we spend all the funds in the most administrative, conducive way to make sure we don't give any money back. And so I'm a little hesitant to take on another program right now. If we do, we run the risk of having to give some dollars back versus making one-time big purchase spends, which is a lot easier administratively. But I got a meeting this afternoon to talk about it. So there's no guarantee that more money is coming, but give us some time. What I will tell you is on our Friday meetings, we oftentimes present other resources. You know, Flagstar Bank has a grant out right now that we've presented. The state of Michigan's Leo department had a grant out that we presented. And then the MEDC just came out with another $15,000 grant program. We don't have all the details for yet. The original source of the funding is CDBG dollars, which comes with strings, right? Low-income areas, low-income workers. There's a lot that goes into it. The application for that comes out on December 15th if you have businesses in your districts you want to promote it to. And we've got business development managers that will help them. So, you know, we are giving as much resources from other places as possible. We will come back and revisit the idea of us providing more if we can.
Just, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to follow up. Khalil, as soon as, and Wafa, as soon as you get some information that we can share with our local businesses, if you could get that to us, the one you said there's additional dollars in December, around December 15th, I think you said?
Yep.
If we can get some information on that.
Yeah, we'll make sure through Andrew Candrevas to send it out to all the commissions. Would those businesses, small businesses that received a grant previously, would they be eligible? They are eligible, and only businesses that are affected by the executive orders are eligible.
Okay, all right. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other question? Seeing none, go ahead now, Khalil. You're gonna turn to Wafa.
Oh no, that's about it.
That's oh, you took it all over, huh?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this is Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Go ahead,
I just
Commissioner.
thank you. I just wanted to say what a good job Wafa did on Channel 7 the other day. I saw her on there talking about all the good work that we're doing in Wayne County. So I just wanted to say that.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, also, Khalil, I want to thank you and thank your team and thank the CEO, Mr. Warren C. Evan. I think Wayne County did excellent job through this difficult time. If we look at the performance of many other county, many other large city in the country, I feel very proud and what the team and the leadership in Wayne County did through this difficult time. So I want to thank you and hope to hear from you after the federal government decide what they're going to do, because now the problem is not only the small businesses hurting, the people running out of food. We all see on through the media, the line, people wait hours and hours to get box of food. So I hope we step our effort a little bit more to assist those in the need. And I hope Washington would give us the tool, the way, the funding to be able to assist our people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the commissioners.
Okay, Madam the Clerk, next item.
E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I have none unless you have something.
Nope.
Next item,
Public comments.
please unmute the public and then I could call for comment. Anybody from the public like to comment?
I only get one turn. That's not true. What did you say?
Second time, anybody from the public like to comment? For the third time, any person from the public like to comment on the Economic Development Committee meeting? Hearing none, now we close the public comment. Next item,
Adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Art Anderson.
motion been made and supported. All those who agree signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, everybody.